You may not recognize it, but if you watched my video on the Fort Glenn Army Air Base on Umnak Island, you have been on Umnak Island and you've been on this runway before. But our visit here today is totally non-military. We're here to explore Umnak Island a bit, and especially to take a look at two volcanoes on the island. That mountain you see directly in front of the aircraft is Mount Veseydolf. It is the highest peak on the island at 7,051 feet. Mount Veseydolf is a stratovolcano, and it was had its last eruption in March of 1957. And we're headed there to fly directly over the peak. Off the right wing of the aircraft, you'll be seeing the caldera of Mount Akmar. The last eruption of this volcano took place in July of 2008, and we'll be talking more about that eruption later. In fact, we'll be flying down into the caldera of Mount Akmar. Umnak is the third largest of the Aleutian Islands after Umnak and Unalaska. It's approximately 72 miles in length and 16 miles wide on average. Umnak is an active volcanic island with a land area of about 700 square miles and with a coastline extending over 205 miles. The elevation of the island, thanks to that big mountain peak, is 6,995 feet. The island is very mountainous with a low level of vegetation. The island does not have a harbor, although a sizable bay is located in the western part of the island. The southern point of the island is known as Cape Sagak. That huge depression you see off to the right of the aircraft is the Okmok Caldera. This caldera measures 5.8 miles wide and truncates the top of a very, very large shield volcano. Fortunately, the volcano is currently rated by the Alaska Volcano Observatory as Aviation Alert Level Green and Volcanic Alert Level Normal. These are the best. Oh yes, and this is the thing we're fixing to fly down into. On Saturday, July 12, 2008, Acma Caldera exploded without warning, sending a plume of ash up to 50,000 feet in the air. During the following 5.5 days, residents of towns within 73 miles to the northeast were repeatedly dusted with ash, and flights into and out of those towns were frequently disrupted. Umnak Pass in the Bering Sea was closed by the Coast Guard to marine traffic, and the Bering Pacific Cattle Ranch on the flanks of Okmok was periodically evacuated, once during noontime darkness caused by the heavy ashfall. The eruption ended in August 2008 and had a rating of cataclysmic. No lava flow was reported in this eruption, though the volcano has issued flows in the past. The eruption took place at a new vent in the northeast part of the caldera, creating the roughly 800-foot high cone you see below the aircraft right now. That dramatically altered the caldera hydrology and created several smaller lakes in the caldera. As we fly through the caldera, you'll see many worn volcanic cones which were created by previous vents in the caldera. Some of these have to be millions of years old. In fact, here's one of those old ones right off of our left wing. I think we should fly down into it. Okay, just a little bit into it. Just this year, volcanic ash deposits found in ice cores from the Greenland ice cap were found to have come from the eruption of Okmok Caldera back in 43 to 41 BC. Now here's some things to dazzle your friends with. Based on the eruption date and global climate models, investigators hypothesized that the 43 BC eruption led to crop failures and famine around the Mediterranean Sea, potentially influencing events surrounding the fall of the Roman Republic and the end of the pharaohic rule in Egypt. At least 17 eruptions of Akmok have been noted since 1805. That certainly makes Umnak Island a place that I wouldn't care to live. But then, I live in California. The earliest known settlement on Umnak Island was 8,400 years ago. Russian fur traders came to Umnak Island in the 1750s. Abuses by the Russians led to an alliance among the Aleuts, and during the winter of 1761 and 1762, the crews of 4 Russian ships were massacred. This included one entire crew on Umnak, which was completely wiped out. Russian traders responded with a scorched earth campaign in 1764 that essentially ended the Aleuts' independence. The modern history of Umnak Island is linked to the military bases established by the United States during World War II. I'll refer you to my video on the Fort Glenn Army Air Base. The purpose of the forward air bases in the Aleutian Islands was not only to defend the Dutch harbor, but also to launch attacks against the Japanese mainland. We'll be exiting the caldera through a slot that's just this side of that cream-colored wall straight ahead of us. I think Microsoft and Asobo have done a great job depicting the lava flow from earlier eruptions. Well, I'm pretty sure I recognize that runway dead ahead of us. Once again, thank you very much for riding along with me. I hope you enjoyed your visit to Umnak Island and to Mount Vsevidof and to the wonderful Okmok crater. I can't believe that thing's over a mile wide. So join us for our next adventure, which will be a flight from the easternmost airport in Russia over to Alaska. Believe it or not, it's only about 70 miles.